We'll see when it gets intake and getting sent here.
I just got a notification.
I did not. Come on. Yes, I did.
Hi guys, we'll be live soon. Class will start at regular time, which will be just after 9:30, 9:32, something like that. Nicole will be taking the class in just a moment, so see you soon.
Morning. So, maybe us three in the camera.
We've got two watching online.
Okay. Is my microphone one on now?
It's not on right now.
The YouTube, you put on my
Microphone is on. You're live here now?
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, how exciting. I think just, and some people on there. Oh.
Forgot 4.
4 humans. 1 human, 2 humans in here, 4 humans there. That's exciting. So, welcome to you guys. Welcome to you guys. Extraordinarily strange times indeed. But we're here, we're going to do some yoga. And this week, as normal, it's hamstrings week, which is still just as exciting. So we'll start off in a reclined position. We will do some tapping in a moment, but we're going to come down and come into Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. And you can roll your shoulders back and just adjust. And again, if this doesn't feel comfortable, maybe slide the feet out or bring your feet to the floor, knees in towards each other. And if you have any other props at home, feel free to kind of make yourself a little more comfortable. I shan't be demonstrating this morning with any, but of course, add what you'd like. And then just starting to bring the awareness to your breath. You might like to even bring the hands just gently onto the body. Maybe onto someplace in the ribs or the chest. And as you tune in and ground here this morning, just starting to notice the movement of your breath. As you inhale, feeling the expansion, the opening. And as you exhale, soften and allow your body to become heavy to the floor. It's so important in these kind of strange times of transition and change is to be able to keep awareness and connection to the breath. Really this feeling and experience of coming home to ourselves. You might change where your hands are resting on the body. You feel the breath in a different way. And just this simple act of breathing. Again, slowing everything down, simplifying, staying focused on your internal world. And we'll take 5 full rounds of breath like this. Just 2 more cycles of breath here. Starting to notice which parts of your back are pressing into the floor. And with that exhalation, releasing the weight of your body a little more. And after that second round of breath, taking a moment just to stretch the arms out long, the legs out long. Time noticing how your whole body is feeling. You might roll out through the wrists, the ankles, spreading the toes. And then drawing knees in towards the chest. Gentle rock side to side, checking in with the lower back, the hips. Just noticing your body. And we'll make our way up to a seated position, so either cross-legged or on your knees. You might just roll off to one side, or bring the knees in. You can take a little rock and roll up and down your spine. And come up, press the ankles. Either sit cross-legged or just up on your heels. And then we're going to start with some of our tapping points. So if you haven't done these before, we have 4 points that we use. We're using them a lot at the moment because it just helps to keep all of the systems moving. And John's just signaling that there's more of you joining us, which is very exciting. Welcome. So starting off underneath the eyes, this is our stomach meridian. We just started gently tapping here. And it can be really nice to inhale through the nose and exhale side out the mouth. We like this, in through the nose and side out. More and knowing that if you're not used to tapping or if it feels a little bit stressful tapping on your face, then just holding there and kind of a light massage is always a nice option. Or of course just staying and focusing on your breath if you prefer not to tap. slowing that point down. Stillness, just a moment. You can close down your eyes, just pause there and notice how your body feels. We'll come to our second point. So collarbones or underneath the collarbones are the little yaddy bitters. We drop underneath over here. I'm going to tap on one side because the microphone's there and it'll be very loud if you're at home. But otherwise, light tapping just on those points. And again, you can also do is just hold for that light massage like this. This is a really good one. If you're feeling a little stressed, overwhelmed, or lightly panicked, just to help kind of balance it out and regain center. This whole idea of coming home to ourselves, which when we're at home is a little easier. Yep. And then slowing that one down. And just pausing there. And maybe a moment to close down the eyes. And just notice. Third point's on the thymus point here, so from the 2 points of the collarbone, drop down to the centre. So it's kind of in line with the nipples where you can get to. Again, I won't be tapping because it'll be really loud. But otherwise, just slightly here. This can be quite a sensitive point, especially at the moment, so maybe just that rubbing feels nicer. And it's a good one for if you are starting to feel any symptoms of cold and flu. This is a good one just to keep them at bay. So a nice one to walk around with all day. Just slowing that point down, holding there, bring that little rub. And our 4th point's out to the side of the spleen meridian. So somewhat in line with the nipples in the centre of the chest, coming out to the side here, and then tapping from here. You can either do our little T-Rex arm variation, or bring the hands across like you're giving yourself a hug, which, as John mentioned the other day, is a nice thing to do because we're not getting as many hugs. Give them to yourself. So tapping on the side, and again, you don't have to tap, you can just hold. Just a nice way of balancing out the body's energies, which always works for the nervous system and the immune system. Slowing that one down, pausing once again, maybe a gentle little massage there. Hold. And release. Bring your hands down for a moment, close down the eyes or soften your gaze. And just take 3 full rounds of breath. And maybe noticing any of the different quality in your body from the tapping. Sometimes leave like a nice little hum or vibration. On your next inhale, let's reach the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers, press your palms towards the ceiling and lengthen up the sides of the body. And draw the belly button to spine just lightly so you're kind of opening the front chain of the body. And then right fingertips come down, left arm reaches or take it to one side. Opening up, maybe a little movement. So moving side to side. Get that space through the side body. And as we're doing this, keeping the attention with your breath, and starting to notice maybe which areas of your body feel really light and free, and maybe areas that are holding a little more tension and tightness. And when there is this massive collective change, there's this sense of interesting emotions. It's so important to tune into where maybe you're holding some of that tension. So using the practice, we'll take that to the left side. So take the intention to notice, and then through breath, through intention, just softening the body to create a little more space and ease. And so our body tunes into more of this healing space or healing vibration. Not only for ourselves, but more for the people around us as well. It's a collective state of healing. And then coming back, just to release your arms, roll your shoulders. Just a moment to roll out through the wrists. You might take little circles. You might like to hold on to one of your wrists and then just make circles like this. Notice before we start to come into our flow this morning. Again, a little burst, rolling it out. And rolling it out. Beautiful. And make your way into a tabletop position. Sitting up, bringing your knees underneath your hips, spreading your hands, and really feel your hands connecting to your mat, to the floor. You might be on a slightly different surface than you're used to, and if it is a carpet or a softer surface, it can sometimes put a little more pressure into your wrist. So taking rest whenever you need. And then we'll move through our rounds of cat-cow, just with your breath. And starting to bring fluidity through the spine. And can you think about articulating from the pelvis, so tilting forward, arching the back, lengthening collarbones. Curl and round, belly button to spine, pull the shoulder blades apart. Beautiful. And then on our next round, coming into cat pose, so round and dome, press the floor away and then tuck the toes. And you might just stay right here, so pushing the floor away, pressing down through the hands, or shift forward slightly and see if you can just hover the knees off the ground. And take a moment to find that activation, bringing your awareness down to the center line of the body, so activating through the core. And then knees low with control, belly lowers, arch the back, lengthen. Again, curl and round, press the floor away, belly button to spine, hover the knees off the floor. One more breath. And then knees come down, belly drops, arch the spine. Curl and round. One more round like this, press through the floor, and then hover. And if you're feeling especially amazing this morning, you might play and see if you can just hover your left foot off the ground. And then place the left foot down, see if you can hover just your right foot off the ground. Place it down, both knees down, and release. And then in a moment, tuck your toes, walk your hands back, sit back into toe squat. If you're not a fan of toe squat, or your toes don't really do this, just back on your heels. Arms behind you, interlace the fingers for a moment. Draw back, opening up to the bottoms of the feet. And then release, shake out those hands again. Back to the floor, shake out your feet for a moment, so whack them into the ground. Beautiful. This time, knees slightly closer together and extend your right leg back. And then ideally you want to flex your back foot. So you're pressing out through that heel so that you start to bring more activation through the hamstring. And then a little lift, so you're lifting or toning through the belly so you can lift from that hamstring, and then with control, tap the big toe to the floor. Lifting up. So really controlling this so you can start to find a little more activation through the backs of the legs. And lift, and lower. Toning belly in, keep pressing down evenly through the hands. And you might think also of squeezing through inner thighs as you're doing this. Two more here on the right. And then next time you lift your right leg, holding here, pressing out to that back heel, draw belly in, and then maybe you reach the left arm. Keep your head neutral, extend out through the fingers, holding here. And exhale, everything lowers back down. Beautiful. Little movement, and then left leg comes back. You can always change if it's too much on your wrist, just bring them into little fists here. Otherwise, float that left leg, press out through the heel. And then we lower big toe to the floor. Reaching up, so lifting from your hamstring, or just that place below the glutes here. Not so much the back, but you start to actually feel the hamstrings come online. Lowering down, and that sense of toning in through the belly, so you're keeping connected to the center line of your body the whole time. Same time with firm activation through your hands. Two more rounds like this, and then we hold on the last one. Moving. Lower down. This time we're going to lift up and hold. So pause, pressing up through that heel. Keep the neck long, and then maybe you extend your right arm as well. Reach and hold. All the way down, Maybe a little movement through your cat-cow, even just taking it side to side. And then a moment in child's pose. Let the hip come down, adjusting as you need to. Maybe your knees a little closer together, or you might just like to bend the elbows and roll out through your wrists. And then as and when you're ready, we'll make our way into downward facing dog. So coming up for your first down dog, into the toes, pedaling out through your feet. And just exploring any movement in your down dog this morning that feels good. So it might be rising up onto the toes and dropping the heels from side to side. You might like to keep a soft bend in your knees. And just noticing if the back of your legs are really tight, your lower back's tight, it's much better to give a nice soft bend through the legs and allow that space as opposed to forcing your legs towards straight. But if straight feels good, go with it. And we'll take 3 breaths here in down dog. Again, you're welcome to continue moving or just hold in stillness. And sometimes that can be really nice, to find the stillness in down dog, to reconnect and kind of solidify with your breath. And as we're ready, we'll add a little movement coming from our down dog to high plank. So rising onto the toes, ripple forward. Now as you come to high plank, press out to the heels. You can always bring the knees down, draw belly button to spine, energy to the backs of the legs, and then soft bend, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Again like this, rising up, ripple forward, pressing down through the hands, and seeing if you can bring your shoulders over wrists, pressing up through those heels. Soft bend to the knees, lifting up and back. 2 more like this, ripple forward. And carrying it back. 1 more, come forward. And then option to come to your knees. Otherwise, staying in high plank, can you hover your right foot off the ground? Yeah. Pressing up to that heel, then place your right foot down and hover your left foot off the ground. Keeping hips in line with the shoulders, and then again lifting from your hamstring, place the left foot down, and then downward facing dog. Voila. Gazing towards your feet at the back of your mat, bending the knees enough so you can start to walk your hands towards your feet. Soft bend, coming into our forward fold. So again, option 1, keep the elbows resting on the knees to support through lower back and again that back chain. Or if you're like, I feel good, you can take opposite elbows, let the heavy ground down through your feet. And now think about the foundation of the feet. So pressing through the ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe, center of the heel. This feeling of lifting through the arches. And then that activation of gently pulling the feet apart so you're active through your legs. Releasing your hands, press down through the feet and then gently start to curl all the way up to stand. Turning lower belly, shoulders can come back, reach the arms, maybe you rise up onto the toes. And then heels come down, hands through heart center, bend at the knees, tilt forward and lower down. Hands to the shins this time, halfway lift. Keep back at the neck long, gazing just down in front. Bend the knees to plant your hands, walk all the way up, high plank position. Option, knees come to the floor, or if you feel ready, lowering down through your high, push up all the way to your belly. And then just keep the hands out beside you, keep the head down, and then see if you can lift your right leg up. And again, that same thing, lifting the back of the hamstring, reach out through your toes, try not to put too much strength in your neck, and then place that right foot down. Then lift your left leg, like you're reaching back through your toes. And placing it down. Now pressing into the tops of your feet, activate the legs, lift for your baby cobra, and you might like to bring your hands out a little wider, and lift. Shoulder blades together, lengthen to the crown of the head. See if you can just float the hands. Let's bring them out wide. And maybe you float your feet as well. And then draw belly button to spine. Lift and lengthen, keep chin to chest. Exhale, release. Hands glide back. Option, take it back through down dog or child's pose. Or wrists under elbows, press into the tops of your feet. And lift for your upward facing dog. Now keep those legs nice and active, lengthen through the crown of the head. Downward facing dog. 3 full breaths in your down dog. And just noticing your breath, noticing your body. Rising onto the toes, gazing forward. This time make your way to the top of the mat. Forward fold over the legs, your variation. Press down through your feet and start to rise. Option once again, you might reach up onto the toes. And then hands come down. Beautiful. Take a few rounds of our Namaskar A. Inhale for the arms to reach up. Hands come down through heart center and fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins. Bend the knees, plant your hands, take it back, high plank position. Shifting forward either halfway to your chaturanga or come all the way down to the belly. Option for your knees or down through your push-up. You can be here in your baby cobra this morning or any other variation, or slide the hands back, press into the hands, the tops of the feet, and lift for your upward facing dog. Soften the shoulders around the jawline, activate through the backs of your legs by pressing into the feet. Downward facing dog. Again, 3 full breaths in your down dog. So just pausing there and looking to slow down the exhalation. And you bring yourself back to what feels like center. This connection of breath and movement. It's the connection of your breath with your movement. As you're ready, rise onto the toes and make your way to the top of your mat. So fold it over the legs. Ground down through your feet, rise it up. Palms together, hands through heart center. Oh, with the breath, let's take it again. Reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Would you like to take it to? Bend the knees to plant the hands and let's take it back. High plank position. Your option, either coming to your belly once again, use your knees as you'd like to, or lowering for your halfway push-up. And then you can transition to the tops of your feet. Keeping the backs of the legs nice and active. Reach. And then once again we meet downward facing dog. And then bringing your feet together in your down dog. Might even shorten the stance. Similar to what we've been doing, we're going to hover this right foot just off the ground. So it's like you're drawing the leg back into the hip socket. And then begin to float your right leg up behind you. Now keep the foot flexed and try and keep the hips squared as much as you can. And then lower the right foot down and change it with the left. So it's like we're walking the dog with giant steps. And the energy is really of lifting from the hamstrings once again. So slowing that action down so you're lifting up and lowering down. Still keeping your upper body in this down dog shape. Take about 3 more lifts to each side. Notice if you lose the connection through your hands, keep pressing down and keep that sense of toning through lower belly. And it's not necessarily about how high you're lifting the legs, but activation through that place just below your buttocks. So the legs are working more with the strength and the flexibility at the same time.
And then once you've finished, just through each side, or just kind of finishing off so you feel even there. Lowering the left leg down. And then as you're ready, reach your right leg high.
And then start to bend your right knee. And then look at taking it right out to the side. So gaze towards your right hand. See if you can step your right foot as close to your right hand as possible, which might be just halfway up your mat. Yeah? Step on the back toes and then sink down. And then see how much, if you start to press down through your hands, and it's like you're working your right leg towards straight, you might come onto the heel, pausing for a moment, which might still have quite a dramatic bend, and then sink forward. So a little bit of movement right here, but that right foot is out to the right side. Coming back a little, maybe even bend the elbows, sink forward. And your movement might just be this. Yeah, you might not come a huge amount of difference. But noticing how that feels, you might even add a little bend to your back knee and starting to explore some movement through your legs. It's getting a lot on your wrists. Again, just come back into the position so you're in like fists. And then the next time you come forward, we're going to sweep it all the way back to downward facing dog. So press down, step back, and take a moment to pause in your down dog. If you would like a moment off of your wrists, come into child's pose, sit back and just roll them out. Otherwise, 3 breaths in downward facing dog. Wardrobe adjustments, always essential.
And then when you're ready, we'll take it to the other side. We're going to start with those leg lifts again.
So make sure that you've kind of rolled out the wrists, they are starting to fatigue, and then ground your hands once again.
Lifting that left leg, press out through the heel. Control this movement. Think about taking it a little slower. And just noticing, can you really lift, like you're lifting from the top of your leg just below the glutes as you take that leg up high. And height really not being the main purpose of it.
Okay, 2 more like that on each side.
And this time you'll finish on the right side, so lowering the right leg down. And then we'll step forward with that left leg.
So reach the left leg up, start to bend the knee. And again, it might just, if your leg comes halfway, you give it a little hoist with that left hand, get it up maybe a little higher. Adjust your hands as you need to. Stay on your back toes, and then let your hips sink down. A little lizard sinking here. And then starting to play with some movement. So it might be that it's not a huge range in your body, especially the backs of your legs. So explore what movement you can do here. Yeah, which might even be bringing the back knee down. Let yourself have that freedom, curiosity. You might flex up on that foot if there is a little more space. Adjust your hands as you need to. I'm looking to bring some freedom and activation through the backs of these legs. And then coming forward one more time. And then we'll make our way back. Downward facing dog. Your option, either holding your down dog or take a moment in child's pose, or we'll take a moment coming through our flow. So ripple forward, high plank, you might bring knees down, lower to your belly. You might come through your low push-up into upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. And as you're ready, rise onto the toes, a walk, a step, or a little hop, top of the mat. Fold it over your legs. Press down through the feet, rise up. Reach the arms, maybe you rise up onto the toes, keep that activation through the legs. And hands come through heart center. And then take a moment just to bring the arms beside you, you can shake them out. Palms forward, soften through the knees, Maybe you close down your eyes, maybe you just soften your gaze. And then just a moment to notice your breath. Maybe you notice your heartbeat. And maybe you're able to notice any of the physical subtle sensations that you're experiencing within your body right now. Cultivating a deeper sense of internal awareness. Taking one more breath here. And then opening your eyes and reach your arms up overhead. This time, take your left hand, take hold of your right wrist, press your right palm up towards the ceiling, and then take it over towards the left. Nice lengthening out once again. Inhale through center. Right wrist, so right hand takes the left wrist, palm presses up, lengthen out to the left side, and take it over to the right. Your hands come down. Check with your feet out. You might want to bring them hip distance all together. And then let the arms come down beside you and sink down. Vinyasa, chair pose. Now depending on how your arms are feeling, you might like to bring your elbows out into cactus arms. I quite like that. Shoulder blades together. Or you might like hands to heart center. Or keep your arms up. And sink a little deeper. And then just start a slight movement here. So as you're doing this, imagine you're pulling your feet apart. Yes, you activate all down the outer line of the hips here, and then slow the movement right down. Working with your breath. Two more like this. And then your next time, we're going to rise up to stand, reach the arms. Toe heel your feet together, keep the arms extended, press down through your right foot, and then draw your left knee in towards the chest. The right foot stays down. See if you can reach that leg out in front. Bend the knee again with control. Now take your hands down, you're going to bring them beside the body, and can you begin to extend that left leg back? Bend your right knee, find this variation moment of Warrior 3. And then as much control as you've got. Now you might bring your fingertips to the floor and see if you can step your left foot back. Beautiful. And adjust the stance. You're in your crescent warrior, arms reach up. And now initially bring your focus to the back leg. So you might have it straight, or you might bring a slight bend into your back knee, activating that back leg so that you're not overly arching here in your back, but you can squeeze through the inner thighs. And then bring your hands to your hips. Start to straighten your front leg, and we'll step this back foot in just slightly. So you can put your foot down. If you prefer to keep it up, go for it. Otherwise, lift and lengthen. Now drawing right hip back, lengthen out of your lower back, crown with the head reaching forward, chin to chest, and start to come over your front leg. You might even like to just keep the arms back like you're in locust pose, and then working over your leg. Now if you would prefer to bring your hands down, or maybe you have blocks at home, you're welcome to do that. Maybe your fingertips come to the floor. But make sure you're not becoming too passive in the shape, yeah, that your hips are still squaring, and we're looking to bring activation through the backs of the legs. Take 2 more breaths here. And then soft bend to your front knee, reach the arms back up, like you're in the short warrior one. Reach the arms, maybe lift your gaze. And then flip the hands down, fingertips to the floor, step your left foot back a little further. And then bring your left knee down. That's it. And then start to straighten your front leg. Okay, so flexing those toes. Again, if you've got props and you use them, or you can roll the mat to bring it under your back knee. Drawing the toes back, lengthening for our half split. and maybe there's a little more space to fold. But if you feel like you kind of lose the connection to your breath or it's just too intense, keep yourself up a little higher, or keep a bend in this knee if you don't have props and it's just way too intense. There's 2 more breaths here. On your next exhale, start to bend your front knee again. Fingertips come forward, tuck your back toes, lifting up. Now looking forward, bring in a step, so you're on this right foot, and then begin to reach your left leg high. Again, might not be that hard. We are coming into standing split, so if you know you can go a little further, feel free to extend that leg. Otherwise, bring as much of a bend in your right knees as you need. Always welcome to prop up the hands. If you want a little more this morning, really point through your left toes, and maybe you take a half bind by bringing your right hand around the ankle. Maybe you have a play with a full bind. Okay, but adapting for where you're at. It doesn't have to be super high. The name is unfortunate, standing splits. One more breath. And then pressing down through your right foot, bending your knee, place your left foot beside your right, so you come into a forward fold, top of the mat. Allow yourself to fold, and maybe give the legs a little shake out. Maybe you bring your elbows up to your knees once again. And then pressing down through your feet, curl all the way up to stand. Arms extend, you might come up onto your toes or just stay here. Hands through heart center. Beautiful. Start with our chair pose again. Sweep the arms, let the feet adjust your feet. You might keep your arms up, you might find cactus arms, or bring your hands to heart center. Stay here. And then, that little bit of movement. Think about pulling the feet apart, activate through your legs. One more like this. And then rise up. Reach the arms and extend to standing. Toe heel your feet together. Press down through your left foot and then draw your right knee in towards you. Whoop. And then you might extend that leg out just for a moment. And then bend the knees, sweep the arms back. Let's take it back for a version of Warrior 3. As much of a bend in that left knee as you'd like to. Maybe you pause, maybe you wobble. Either way. And then we'll step that right foot back. Arms reach up. Crescent lunge. And can you bring a little more focus and attention to this back leg? So you're pressing out through the hamstring, pressing out through the heel, sorry. And you might have that little bend so you keep activity and that squeezing in through the legs. Beautiful. Hands to the hips. Start to straighten your front leg, step your back foot in. I'll be going to a pyramid pose. So you always change the kind of stance here so that your hips and chest can come forward, slight bend in your front knee, and then lengthening out. And notice if you want to lead with your chin. Chin to chest, try and lead with the crown of the head, and you're really drawing this left leg back, belly coming over. And if you're looking for more of that activation, step a little higher, arms can reach back. Or maybe if there's space and you want to come down further, the fingertips might come to the floor. But try and keep length out of your lower back, and so you're not just kind of hanging here into the leg. Lengthen. Two, three, 4 breaths here. That bend into your knee. Start to bring the hands to the floor. And we're going to adjust by stepping that right foot back. Right knee comes down. Half split. So adjust as you walk your hands back. You can bring in your props. If you've got them, you can just roll the mat on either side to give yourself a little more height if you need to. Or supporting that back knee. Flexing the toes up as high as you need to. You can always have that bend of the knee. If keeping your hands down just doesn't quite work, or if there's a little more space, starting to fold over this front leg. Let's take 3 more breaths here. We'll take it towards our standing split. So bending the front knee, fingertips come down. Tuck your back toes, step your back foot in. Maybe you have put your hands on something out in front, ground onto that left foot, and it might just be slightly lifting your right leg off the floor. You might even keep it down. But keep as much of a bend through that left knee as you need, and you might come a little further as you lift up. You might even like that left hand to come around the ankle, or maybe both hands for the free balance here. Taking what is in your body. Making sure it's not all just sinking to that outer hip. One more breath. And then gently with a bend, start to lower your right foot to meet your left. You end up back in your forward fold. A moment to bend the knees and fold the legs. Maybe a little shake out the legs. Ground down through your feet. Come all the way up. Again, you might rise onto the toes here. Reach. And then heels down, hands through heart center, and let yourself fold once again. Hands to your shins, halfway lift. Bending the knees, plant the hands, step back, option, downward facing dog, or take it to a round of your flow, any variation you'd like. And then once you get back to your downward facing dog, we'll meet in our child's pose. So if you prefer to hold in downward dog, you can, otherwise child's pose. Or if you're really feeling energized this morning, you might like to hold in a dolphin. Why not, right? But wherever you are, take 5 full breaths here. And using these moments to bring your focus and awareness back to your breath, back to the sensations in your body. Can you experience or feel your breath more into the back of your ribs, into the back of your body? Allow a sense of softness, so not losing the integrity, but softness. And then just as and when you're ready, we'll come back and meet in our downward facing dog. And this time from your down dog, reaching the right leg high. Bending your right knee open for scorpion dog. And a moment to roll out the ankle. You might like to roll the hip. If scorpion dog isn't really in your practice, feel free to just hold in down dog or anything else that suits you. And if you have a wild thing in your practice you'd like to come with me, you're going to roll to the blade edge of that left foot. Gently lower the right toes down, and then pressing down through your hand and that back leg, extend and open the front chain of the body. As you're ready, a little sink of the hips as you start to come back over, rolling onto your left toes, place that right hand down and reach your right leg up. Gazing in between the hands, draw knee to nose, step the right foot through. Up on the fingertips, back heel down for a warrior 2 setup. So take the arms over the top and then checking in with your feet in your stance here. So front foot facing forward, that kind of pressing away, and really ground down through the back foot as you extend out through the arms, maybe gazing over the middle finger. And you might even like a little movement here. Or seeing if you can lift all 5 toes on your front foot and feel like you're pressing down through the heel and kind of drawing it in underneath. Playing with these little movements to look for more activation in your legs. And then settle into a nice stable and strong position here in your warrior two. Turn your front palm, keep the legs the same, and reverse your warrior back. Pull the arms back, straightening your front leg, hands to your hips, stepping that back foot in just slightly, or adjusting for your triangle distance if you're not. Arms extend out. Again, a nice little bend in that front knee can be supported to keep activation through the right leg. And then a gentle lengthening. So you're not forcing yourself out, but find length through both sides of the body, and then start to come down. At the same time, as you come down, really lift through that top hand, and like you're trying to press your top shoulder slightly back. And it may be that you come down a little further, but notice where that point is, where the right side of the body starts to collapse, where you lose that connection. Take 3 full breaths here. And then after your third exhalation, inhale, lifting up. Hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in, left toes in. Set up for your wide-legged forward fold here. So turning everything in, adjust if you need to go a little wider. Hands to hips, lift the chest, lengthen out of the lower back, and then starting to tip forward. Coming down over the legs. Again, you can always use any props if you've got them at home with you. Or hands might walk back. You might pause here, you might walk your hands through the legs. Maybe you take hold of the big toes or even the ankles. And just remember to bring as much of a bend into the knees as you would like to. Notice where the weight is falling through your feet. So a lot of times it tends to come back into the heels. Can you bring it a little more into the balls of the feet here? And we'll take 3 full breaths. Exhalation to rise onto the fingertips. Starting to turn your right foot forward once again, let the hands just follow. Framing your foot, stepping back. If you have anything else you'd like to add, like stepping halfway with your right foot to add any little handstand hops if it's in your practice, of course feel free. Otherwise, come to down dog, you're welcome to stay here, maybe child's pose, or taking it through a round of your flow once again. Okay, but modifying to really make it your practice this morning. So you take one more round of flow. And then as you're ready, reaching that left leg high, bending your left knee, open for scorpion dog. And it may just be a little bend and you're kind of exploring movement here, or circles out through the hip. Or if that space is there and you feel really familiar and comfortable with this pose, opening out, you can roll to the blade edge of your right leg. For this variation, the right leg somewhat stays straight. And then reaching up, lengthening. Mindful of this right shoulder. And a little swing of your hips as you come back. Roll into those big toes. Reach and extend that left leg high. Drawing knee to nose, step the left foot in between the hands. That heel comes down. Coming up for our warrior two. So same thing. As you come into warrior two, adjusting the stance once again. So that front foot facing forward, back toes turning in, and then just a little movement, shifting forward and back. Maybe you lift the 5 toes on your front foot, press down through that heel, add a little more activation as you press the knee away. And then find a place you would like to pause in. Nice and strong and active here, through those legs, lengthening to the crown of the head. reach forward, turn your front palm, and reverse your warrior. And then arms come back. Straighten your legs this time, hands to the hips. Adjust your stance. You might step in a little bit for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Look for that place where you feel it's even through your hips. Arms reach. Can have that slight bend in the front knee. Just brings a little more activation to the back of the leg, and then lengthen. But as you lengthen, it's not just this top side, bottom side. So you're not reaching all the way out, kind of halfway, and then start to come down. As you come down, now lift through that top right arm a little more. And then pressing down through your feet, like you're trying to drag your left heel underneath you. You can very easily, and a lot of these poses just kind of hang passively. I want to find a little more activation. And then just staying for 3 more breaths here. And then on your next inhale, reaching up. Taking your hands to your hips, adjusting your feet once again, turning them in for our wide-legged forward fold. So again, as much bend in the knees as you need. Pressing down to the feet, lift the chest, and then we tilt forward. Coming down, your option for the hands. Then your option is just to stay in the forward fold this time, or we'll add a little bit of a twist. So if you'd like the twist, coming up onto your hands, you can place one hand in the center, maybe your left hand comes down, reaching that right arm up, or open into a twist. Again, take your straight legs, taking your bend. Look to kind of stack your shoulders, which might mean having your arm out to the side a little more. And then if you're twisting, placing that first hand, opening up the other side. Onto your fingertips, take a halfway lift. And this time, starting to turn towards your left foot, roll into your back toes, placing the hands. If you took any little hops here by stepping halfway, leaning into it, go for it. Otherwise, coming back, maybe down dog, maybe child's pose, maybe another round of your flow. And just a moment to pedal out your feet in your down dog. Thanking your body for turning up. And then from your downward facing dog, either just knees come down to step onto your back, you might take a little hop through or just a step through here. You can cross your ankles or step your feet out the way, then come all the way down. And all the way down to your back. And then just a moment to find the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Bring your feet out wide to start. And then just gently let your knees move from side to side. Take little wintering wipers here. Notice the quality of your breath and just take these moments to settle your breath as if bringing it back to center. Beautiful. And then sitting up, walk your feet in to about your hip distance apart, shoulders back and down, arms beside your palms, pressing into the floor. And allow a little movement through your pelvis, so those pelvic tilts tilting forward, lower back lifts, and then pressing to the floor. And your option might be just to stay here with this slight movement through the lower back, a really beautiful movement actually, and quite soothing for the nervous system just to come into Shavasana. If you'd like to add a little more spinal extension, checking in with those feet, grounding down through the feet, pressing lower back to the floor, and then starting to lift your hips. And you might just like here a few rounds of your undulating bridges. So lifting up and down with your breath, or if you prefer, coming up. If there's space, you can interlace the fingers, wriggle your shoulders in underneath, and then make your way up to your bridge pose. So if you're working with undulating bridges, just Just taking a few rounds like that. If you're working with bridge pose, you can hold for about 3 to 5 breaths and maybe take another round. And if you have full wheel in your practice, this would be your opportunity to take it there as well. Otherwise, remember, you can always just be here. Keep that sense of just gentle rhythm if you don't want to take anything else too big at the end of practice. More working with down regulating, calming the nervous system to move into Shavasana. Taking about 5 more breaths where you are. It might be still up in your bridge pose here. Taking your time, if you're working with a few more back bends, feel free to keep going. Otherwise, when you're ready to come down, we'll take this into a number 4 pose. So, on your own time, really as you're ready, right ankle will come onto the left knee. You can stay right here, this is a quite wonderful variation. Or draw that left knee in towards you, and then either finding a little grip. If you can't quite get that grip, you can just hold the top leg as if you're gently drawing the shape in towards you, or again keeping it on the floor. Otherwise you might interlace here, under the hamstring, or even with the left leg extended long. And just pausing for a moment, or more than a moment, a few rounds of breath. Again, try and keep your shoulders pressing into the floor, so if you're taking that bind, that you're not then pulling your shoulders off the ground. Just 2 more breaths on this side. Then when you feel ready, releasing the legs there. You might like a moment with the feet down as the knees drop to side to side. Otherwise, coming right into the other side, left ankle on right knee, or whatever side you just do. Same thing, choosing your variation from here. About another 3 breaths here on this side. When you're ready from there, releasing the legs, taking any final movement you'd like before Shavasana. So again, it might just be knees side to side. You might like to bring both knees in towards your chest. You might like a happy baby or a spinal twist. You might just be done and want to come straight into your final resting. That's it. And then as you do make your way into Shavasana, really be picky about how you would like to spend this last posture. So maybe reclining your back, you might want to use anything to pop up. You might prefer just have the knees bent, or lying on your side, or on your belly. And once you've found your shape, welcome to take a nice full inhale through the nose. And exhale, side out the mouth. Releasing any conscious control out of the breath. Allow the weight of your body to come heavier and heavier into your mat. With each round of exhalation, feel the weight of your body resting into the floor, softening, becoming heavy. Shavasana. feet together to close the practice. Bring your hands to heart center or just resting on the knees. And really just in honour of yourself for practicing. Creating this time. Close with a single breath. Followed by the single sound of Om. You're welcome to join me or just listen. Starting with the breath in through the nose. Inside out the mouth. Inhale for Om. Those who join me here, thank you for those who join me at home. Many blessings to you all. Have a beautiful Monday and some hope to see you soon. Namaste.
787878. Someone must have been. Ask for some feedback.
Please send me some feedback on the link if you're still there. Sound wise, if it chipped out, if you just like me, anything like that.
Brightness, lightness.
Brightness, lightness. Any technical feedback would be very helpful.